here again, I said integral outlook because it really requires a shift, a 180-degree shift in our thinking. Usually we think, okay, this object is an object and I treat it as an object. But as we make ourselves more and more spiritually conscious, then we realize that every particle of dust is not just what it appears to be. That everything in this universe is consciousness. That what consciousness we carry within, we have within us, is reflected in everything. And so while dealing with other people, with other entities, with other objects, instead of thinking, oh, this is just a knife, or this is just a car, this is just a plant. We gradually develop the awareness that no, it appears to be just that. But what it really is hidden in the invisible world, is hidden from the observable surface. But it is its essence, which is also my essence. And if I deal with that object or that person or that entity, thinking that my essence is communicating with the essence of that entity, you can understand that the quality of the interaction and the relationship will be very different. So here it means really to transform the limited way of seeing things that causes us to deal with things and people in a certain manner, liberating our vision from those limitations, from those bondages of the superficial appearances, and moving towards consciousness. So it's very easy to understand that it is a difficult principle to practice. But it is also easy to understand that if we make an effort to practice it, it will greatly enhance our life. It will actually revolutionize our life just by itself. The last point is aparigraha. Aparigraha means not indulging in the enjoyment, in the material enjoyments, which are superfluous, not discarding the objects that are superfluous in our life. And this has again a social connotation, a social impact, and it has a meaning for our spiritual life. Though we think that the more we have of something, the better we will be, we should know better. Because there is just the right amount that we need. And beyond that, if we indulge in the enjoyment of that, it leads to loss of balance. It leads to loss of physical health or loss of mental health. Again, there is no need to run after things so much. And if some people, they love to accumulate. It's due to a sense of insecurity. That people accumulate, and in a culture that is extremely insecure because it is spiritually very deprived, spiritually very undeveloped, people feel the need to have more and more things. Again, to have control over things. Now, the spiritual aspirant realizes that the inner state of beauty and charm lies in the simplicity of being, not in the agitation of having. That there is a huge difference. It's a completely different paradigm, the paradigm of having and the one of being. And aparigraha wants to lead us to that. Begin to think, how many things do I have in my life which are I'm surrounding myself with clutter. What does this do for me? What does it do to me? How can I live more more completely, more happily, more independently of all these things? How can I find the inner sense of not needing anything more than what is strictly necessary? And here, what is strictly necessary for a person is different from what is strictly necessary for another. What is strictly necessary today is different from what was strictly necessary yesterday or will be tomorrow or in a different situation. I'd like to stress that all these points are embedded in the world of relativity. So there's not a crystallized, they're not a crystallized a set of injunctions or instructions, but they want to tell you, well, be aware of this, like begin to tighten the screws, begin to fine-tune, to regulate and see what happens. Why morality, or rather why I say morality, but we understand it in this spirit of Yama Yama. Why Yama is so important for a spiritual aspirant? It is important to regulate the chaotic trends of the human mind that need to be tamed. So in a way, it is as if you had a wild horse, and so while the horse is wild, there's not much you can do with it. But if you can tame the horse, that horse will be able to do something. And if you actually not only tame it, but train it, then you can do something very, very, very nice with that tamed horse. So it is the same thing for our own trends of mind. If we leave them to be wild, they'll lead us astray. To tame them is good, and to train them is even better, because then they can be very useful. They can be very, very useful in leading us to the goal that we have chosen to move towards too. And I'd like to say one more thing. When one begins to practice, even in a very simple manner, these principles of Yama Niyama, one becomes aware of them and says, yes, I want to become more conscious. I want to become more careful when I talk to people. I want to become more careful when I deal with the world, and I do meditation for 10, 20 minutes, and I'm fine, I feel very good. Then I go out, then I go to work, and all my bliss and my calm and composure has been destroyed. I want to do something that will maintain it, that will maintain me, my mind, my being in that state of balance and harmony and composure. Then we begin to think, okay, this is useful. If I regulate myself, it can be very useful. And when we do this, we are practicing willpower. We are practicing something which increases our willpower. And as we increase our willpower and regulate our mind, that will eventually lead us to develop the energy, the energy of the mind. When it is controlled by our willpower, develops into dedication. It elevates to a higher level. So mind feels a natural sense of dedication. Dedication for what? You'll have to discover it if you haven't already. And that dedication will lead to something greater, devotion. Devotion for what? To what? Again, you'll have to discover it if you haven't already. And that will take us, to ultimately to move towards our goal. Namaskar.